The film begins in this prison, while a guard is making his rounds to ensure all the prisoners are asleep. But the prisoner, Raja, is still awake, lost in memories of his sister, Sona. The guard says to him, "You have the right not to sleep since you're getting out tomorrow, but I don't know why a good person like you was imprisoned for 7 years." Raja replies, "I will tell you my story from the beginning." From here, we go back 18 years. At that time, Raja is with his mother and sister Sona at the temple. Raja asks his mother, "When are we going to see father?" She tells him, "Right after we leave here." But upon arriving at his new home, she discovers that he has betrayed her and married another woman. He throws some money at her to take the 2 children and go away, but she throws the money back at him, takes the children, and leaves him. However, on their way back to their village, the mother cannot bear the betrayal and heartbreak, and she dies before they arrive. They get off at the station, and the station master, Raj, asks Raja, "Who is this?" He replies, "This is my mother, and we have no relatives here." Raj goes with him to help with his mother's funeral and pays for all the expenses. At the same time, Singh arrives and tells them, "Who allowed you to build this grave here?" Raj tells him, "This is his mother's grave, and this land is theirs." Singh says, "His mother took a loan from me and didn't repay the money, so the land has become my property, and I will demolish this grave now." Raja tells him, "Please don't demolish it. I will repay all your money." Raj says to him, "Have mercy on them. The boy says he will repay you. Give him a chance." Singh says, "First his father ran away, and now his mother is dead. This is a child. How will he return my money?" Raj tells him he will cultivate his land, and from the harvest he will return your money. Raja tells him, "I will work day and night on the land until I return all your money." Raj tells him, "If he can't, then your money is on me." Singh says, "Then the same agreement that was with his mother, he brings me the installment every year." He leaves them and departs. From that time on, Raja began to work the land, and at the same time, he took care of raising his sister, Sona. Every year, he paid a portion of the money to Singh. The days pass, and Sona grows up and enters school, but Sona is reluctant because she is afraid of being away from her brother Raja. She meets Riya, and from that moment on, she became her only friend. The years pass, and Raja and Sona grow up, and they have 2 people working with them. At that time, Sona had her final year exams in college, so Raja took her to the station to see her off. But after the train moved, he was afraid to leave her alone. Raj tells him, "Let her be now. How long will you keep being afraid for her?" At the same time, Raja sees that there are harassers on the same train, so Raja hurries and gets on to protect Sona. At that time, Sona was terrified of them, but she was relieved as soon as she saw Raja. She went towards him, but the harassers followed her. Raja attacked them and beat them severely, throwing them one by one from the train door. Afterward, Sona finishes her exams, and the temple priest comes to visit Raja. He says to him, "This is the first time you visit us at home." He tells him, "There is a rich groom who works in America, and he asked me to ask for Sona's hand from you." He says to him, "Of course, after the marriage, he will take her to live with him there." He replies, "She will surely become his wife." He says, "No, I don't want a prince or a minister for my sister. I just want someone who will live with us here so I can rest assured about her." At the same time, the Indian young man Ramu appears, who lives in Australia, and his father is a millionaire. We learn that Ramu is spoiled and loves to chase girls, and his money gets him everything he desires. Later, Ramu is at home, and at the same time, Girish, his uncle, calls his father. After checking on them, he says, "Give me my sister." He tells her, "You must return to India soon to attend Riya's engagement." She tells her, "But the most important thing is that the groom's family is rich." He tells her, "I only agreed after I confirmed they're rich." Riya snatches the phone from him and tells her, "But this time, Auntie, you must bring Ramu with you because we have never seen each other." She tells her, "Of course, I will bring him with us," and ends the call. So Ajit says to her, "I will of course go with you." She replies to him, "Of course not. Did you forget you have important work in America?" So he says to her, "I had actually forgotten." Afterward, Riya goes to Sona's house and tells them, "My wedding is in 2 weeks, and you both must attend, but Sona must come with me from now on." But Sona told her, "My brother must agree first." Raja says to her, "But I have never let her go anywhere alone. What do you think?" She tells him, "If it will bother you, I will refuse." He tells her, "No, it's fine. Go with her." Afterward, Riya returns home with Sona. From the first minute, Sona helps her with the housework. At the same time, the driver arrives and picks up Ramu and his mother from the airport and takes them to his uncle's house. After Ramu arrived, he greeted his uncle, and his uncle took him to his room. He looked and saw Sona in the mirror and said to BG, "Who is the girl here?" He tells him, "It must be Riya." He ran quickly and entered Sona's room without her noticing, and suddenly he hugged her, thinking she was Riya. She tells him, "But I am not Riya." He asks her, "Then who are you?" She tells him, "I am her friend." At the same time, Riya came and they were introduced to each other. She says to him, "And this is..." He tells her, "I knew she was your friend, but at first I made a mistake and hugged her because I thought she was you." She tells him, "Leave her alone, you crazy man. She doesn't like these things." At that moment, they were calling for Riya, so she took him with her to get him away from Sona. Sona said, "This is definitely a monkey, not a human." He heard her and came back to her again and says, "People say that young men who lived abroad are spoiled, ill-mannered, and swindlers. By the way, they are right, and I am exactly like that, so watch yourself." He leaves her and goes. Afterward, Sona went down to help them in the kitchen, and the maid said to her, "What is scaring you so much?" She tells her, "The Australian monkey in this house is flirting with me." She tells her, "Okay, do you know who this is next to you?" She says, "Yes, Riya's aunt." She tells her, "And the one you called a monkey, this is her son." Sona gets flustered and leaves them. At the same time, Prakash, Krish's partner, arrives with his daughter Dolly. Krish welcomes him and says, "This is Ashwini's sister who lives in Australia." Dolly runs to greet her, and Prakash says to him, "Is this the one you told me about her son and promised me you would marry him to Dolly?" He says, "Yes, it's her." He says, "Then introduce us to him quickly." Afterward, they all go inside. At the same time, Ramu goes towards Sona and flirts with her. She smiles and leaves. Afterward, Krish saw him and said to Prakash, "That's him." Dolly rushed towards him, but Ramu took her and jumped into the water. After that, Ramu went to change his clothes. But he made a mistake and entered Sona's room. She tells him, "Get out of here, this is my room." He tells her, "I'm sorry, I made a mistake." Before he leaves, he tells her, "By the way, this horse is beautiful." She tells him, "Don't you dare touch it." He didn't leave and took the horse to annoy her. She tells him, "Give it back. This is a gift from my brother." He gave it back to her. She tells him, "Come on, get out now." Before he left, he said to her, "By the way, I have bothered you a lot, and any other girl would have slapped me. Or did you not hit me for some reason?" She tells him, "No, there's nothing," and closes the door in his face. The next day, Sona is helping Riya with the laundry. She sees Ramu's jacket and takes out all her anger on it. At that moment, Ramu sees her from a distance and comes towards her. At the same moment, Dolly says to Sona, "Haven't you seen Ramu?" He hides and tells her, "Don't tell." She tells her, "He is standing right there," and leaves him. Dolly says to him, "Don't go anywhere because I want to introduce you to my friends." Afterward, her friends arrive, he meets them, and she tells him, "By the way, they are all rich like me." At the same time, Sona comes and offers them sweets. Riya tells her, "Sit down now. You have been tired with me since the morning." Dolly says to Riya, "Well, we are all rich. That's why we sit together." But Sona says to her, "I am also rich. We have a small house, land that we cultivate, and cattle that we raise. But the most important thing is that I have a brother who is ready to sacrifice his life for me, and his love for me is priceless." Riya says to her, "Then come with me because I need you." They leave them and go. Ramu was impressed by Sona's character. Dolly asks him, "What are you lost in thought about?" He tells her about Sona. She asks him, "What about her?" He says, "I don't know, but every day I discover something new in her." She asks him, "Something what?" He tells her, "Something strange." At the same time, Singh is with Raja and says to him, "Sona has finished her studies and you must get her married." He tells him, "When I find a suitable groom for her." He says to him, my son Vish has also graduated from the College of Agriculture, and frankly, he wants to marry her. Or do you have an objection? He tells him, no, but I must get her opinion first. The next day is Ria's engagement party, and Ramu goes crazy as soon as he sees her dress and starts following her like a shadow. She got shy and tried to get away from him, saying, go away now. He tells her, then let's talk in private. She says, no, and leaves. He follows her. She says, what will people say about me? He says, that's why I told you to come talk in private. She says, no. He tells her, okay, by the way, the zipper of your dress is open. She says, you're a liar. He tells her, there is a mole 10 centimeters below your neck. She blushes and he leaves her and goes. But he tells Ria to help her. She goes to her and says, the zipper is undone. Come change your dress. It's better. She goes with her and comes back in another dress, trying to see where Ramu went to stay away from him. At the same time, he is behind her. She sees him and says, thank you. You really are a monkey, but you are a gentleman. He says, unbelievable. You are saying something nice to me, or are you feeling something? She says, no, nothing, and leaves him. The two of them challenge each other and turn the party into a celebration of dancing and songs. But in the middle of the party, a strange young man enters, takes Ria, talks to her privately, leaves her, and goes. Sona asks her, who is this? She tells her what happened. Sona called Ramu and said, I need you. The three of them went together. Ria tells him that a young man was her classmate in college, and at his birthday party, he got her drunk and photographed her, and now he is trying to get money from her, or else he will expose her. Sona tells him the video is on his phone, and if you don't give Ria the money, he will expose her and post it on the internet. You are the only one who can help her solve the problem. Afterward, he takes Sona with him, and they enter the young man's house while he is asleep and steal his phone and tablet. Then they return and give them to Ria. Ria thanks him and they leave her and go, but Sona stops and calls him. He comes back to talk to her and she says, let's be friends. Before he shakes her hand, he says, just friends, nothing else. She was about to leave him, but he says, okay, I agree. The next day, they played together on opposing teams. Dolly got annoyed when she saw that Ramu was interested in Sona and not her. She ran towards the ball and tried to hit Sona with it, but couldn't hit her, and the ball flew and entered Sona's room by chance. Ramu says to Dolly, go and get it quickly. Dolly ran and got it, and before she left, she noticed that she had written a note next to her horse that no one was allowed to touch it. She took it and vented her anger on it and broke it. She went down and told her, the horse in your room, the ball hit it and broke it. Sona was sad and ran to her room, and Ria went with her. Sona saw the horse broken and was very sad because it was a gift from her brother and reminded her of their memories together. At the same time, Ramu went up after them and was watching them from a distance. At night, he went to her. She was upset and moved away from him, but he surprised her. He had fixed the horse for her and says, I know it's important to you, and by the way, it was very difficult for me to fix it. She took it from him happily. He tells her, the problem is that it looked like it was repaired, so I decorated it. She tells him, it's more beautiful like this, and thank you, but why did you go to so much trouble for me? He tells her, the truth is to see this smile of yours. She asks him, just for that? Not for anything else? He says, yes. He was about to leave her and go, but she says to him in his style, so you didn't feel anything? He asks her, what did you say? She got shy and was about to go, but he held her hand and let go when he thought she was annoyed, but she came back and extended her hand to him. From then on, the two fell in love. But after a short time between them, Ramu tried to kiss her, and Sona slapped him to get him away from her. He leaves her and goes away angry. She runs after him, devastated, and says, I'm sorry. He tells her, no, I'm the one who's sorry. At the same time, Ria sees them together. Sona got shy and tried to leave, but Ria stopped her and said, do you think I wouldn't know that you two love each other? She gets even more shy and runs away from her. At the same time, Raja had prepared himself and was about to take the train to travel and attend Ria's wedding. Raj sees him off at the station. He gets on and rides. The day before the wedding, Krish saw Prakash holding his phone angrily. He asks him, why are you doing that? He says, I'm going to delete your number and not attend the wedding because tomorrow your sister will return to Australia and you won't keep your promise to me. He says to him, so that's how you understood it? Then come with me. He says to his sister, didn't I talk to you about Ramu and Dolly? She says, yes, that's right. And we agree and we will talk about everything after the wedding is over. She takes Dolly and leaves them. He says to him, are you sure now? He says, okay. Afterward, the groom's procession procession arrives, and Ramu remembers that this means he will return to Australia. He takes Sona and tells her, "I'm leaving tomorrow, but you must know that I truly loved you. As soon as I arrive, I will talk to my father, and then I will talk to your brother about us." But at the same time, Dolly is watching them and heard his conversation with her. She gets angry and tells everyone about what's between Ramu and Sona. Prakash says to his mother, "We must keep this girl away from him because girls like her are always looking for rich young men to exploit." Afterward, his mother goes and sees him with Sona. Sona leaves him and goes. His mother says to him, "I was supposed to buy a gift for Ria, but I forgot. So you take BG with you and go buy her some gold bracelets to your taste." He takes BG and they leave. Afterward, Ashwini goes to where Sona is and asks her, "How old are you?" She says 20 years old. She tells her, "Even though you are young, you are smart." Sona feels that something strange is about to happen. At the same time, the maid shoos everyone out of the place. Afterward, they all surround her and accuse her of trying to exploit Ramu for his money. At the same time, a girl tells Ria what is happening. She came down quickly and tells them that Ramu loves her. Her father tells her, "Shut up and don't interfere in the matter." Sona breaks down and everyone kicks her out of the house. She leaves them and goes. Meanwhile, her brother Raja had arrived. Sona threw herself into his arms crying, and Raja thought she was crying because she had missed him. Afterwards, he gave Ria her gift and said to Krish, "And this is your gift." Prakash then took the gift and stomped on it with his foot. Raja says, "Sona, what is happening here?" Prakash tells him, "Your sister was in love, and you know nothing about it." He tells him, "If you say another word about her, I'll kill you." Prakash replies, "If you knew what your sister did, you would kill her yourself." Raja got angry and was about to hit him, but Sona stopped him at the last moment. However, Ashwini throws them both out. Raja says to Sona, "Let's go." Ria tells him, "Forgive me." He says to her, "If I didn't consider you my sister, I would have known how to deal with them." He takes Sona and they leave. After that, Ria's wedding takes place. Ria sees Ramu standing alone and tells them, "I must say goodbye to Ramu before I go." She goes to him and says, "Listen to your heart and don't think Sona left you, because if you go to her room, you will find she left you the most precious thing she owns." She leaves him and goes. Ramu runs up to her room and finds that she left the horse so he would know she loved him. But then Ashwini appears and tells him, "We are traveling tomorrow." The next day, they go to the airport. Dolly tells him, "Don't think about her. Consider her a passing cloud. I am still with you." He asks her, "If you really love me, could you wait for me for a year, 2 or 3? She gets flustered and doesn't answer. He tells her, "You can't, but Sona can. And by the way, you are the passing cloud, not Sona." He leaves her and goes. Afterwards, he boards the plane with his mother. Meanwhile, Sona is sad because her brother was humiliated because of her. She tells Gauri, "Raja was humiliated because of me, but he didn't say a single word to upset me." She tells her, "What will upset him more is to see you sad, so take my advice and forget everything that happened." She tells her, "I won't be able to forget Ramu." Afterward, Ashwini arrived in Australia. Her husband Jeet says to her, "I don't know how Ramu didn't come with you." She says, "He was with me until we got off the plane at Singapore airport to board the plane that would bring us here, but he definitely left me and returned to India again." He asks her, "And why did he go back?" She tells him, "Because of love." He is surprised because he knows Ramu and says, "Because of love?" The next day, Raja, Sona, Singh, and his son Raj and Gauri are visiting their mother's grave. At the same time, Ramu had arrived at the same place. Sona sees him and is afraid of Raja's reaction. Afterward, next to Raj, Ramo sits. Raja is focused on the rituals he's performing. Raj says to Ramo, "Who are you?" He replies, "I am the one who loves Sona." Ramo then bravely stands up and says to Raja, "Frankly, the first time I saw you, I got nervous, so I don't know what your reaction will be when you hear me, but I have to talk to you. I am Ramu, the one who loves Sona." He is shocked, and everyone is surprised, but Raja doesn't answer and leaves him and goes. Ramu walks behind him and says, "We both love each other, and I apologize for what happened with my family." He says to him, "Are you done talking, or is there more?" He says, "Yes, that's all." He says to him, "Then come with me." They go and enter enter the house. Sona is sure that he will hit him. At the same moment, Raja threw him outside and says to Afdal, take him and throw him out of the village. Afdal takes him in the car while he is unconscious. Raj says to him, kicking him out will not solve the problem, and be aware that Sona will not be able to object because she won't be able to tell you about her feelings, but if her mother were alive, she would have surely told her everything. He tells him, her mother is the problem. Every time I remember what happened to her, I fear for Sona because all rich people think the same way. At the same time, Ramu returns again. Raja gets angry and was about to attack him. Raj says to him, calm down. He surely came back to get his bag. Ramu says to him, no, I came back for Sona. Raja gets angrier and attacks him, and Ramu stands his ground and says, please don't separate us. I left my whole life to be with her, so tell me what to do to prove to you that I love her. Raja gets even angrier, and Raj says to him, if Sona reminds you of your mother, he also reminds me of you when you were young. If you hadn't taken your chance, what would your life be now? You must be fair and give him a chance to try. Raja walks towards Sona and says to her, do you really want to choose your life partner yourself, or do you need my opinion? She tells him, of course I need your opinion, and I will not choose anyone without your approval. Ramu says to him, what do I do for you to trust me and to prove to you that I love her? He says to him, so you can do anything for her? He says, of course. He tells him, you will cultivate the land, and from tomorrow you will work and do everything I do, and if you succeed, only then will I agree for you to marry her. Ramu says to him, I am ready to do everything you said, and I bet you that the land I cultivate will yield a bigger harvest than your land. And it's true that falling in love was easy, but I will do the impossible to prove to you that I love her. He tells him, if you lose, you forget her and never come back here again. He says, and I agree. Afterward, Afdal takes him and says, you will sleep here among the cattle, and at 5 in the morning I will wake you up for work. Ramu is shocked by the place and cannot sleep, but Afdal came back to him at 5 in the morning and woke him up. He says to him, I couldn't sleep at all, and I need a cappuccino to wake up from the fatigue. He pushed him and knocked him down and says, drink as much as you want from this. Ramu understands. He says to him, sit down quickly to start your work. He goes with him, and Afdal makes everything difficult for him so that he gives up and leaves. But Ramu endures and continues until night. Afdal says to him, here, eat, and don't forget to go back to your home on the morning train. Ramu eats but cannot handle the spicy food, and Afdal denies him water. At the same time, Sona is watching what happened to him. She went in after him to the cattle and gave him a sedative so he could endure and continue, and leaves him. He asks her, will I eat the same food tomorrow? She says, yes. He says, I will eat it every day. The next day, he wakes up on his own and makes a plan to make his work easier. At the same time, Singh and his son Vish are watching him to see what happens. Gauri sees them and says he will not lose because it is impossible for him to give up on Sona, and leaves them. The next day, Jeet had arrived from Australia and came to the village with Krish and Prakash to bring Ramu back. Raja says to him, your son is with you, take him with you when you go. At the same time, Ramu enters. Jeet says to him, what is this you are doing to yourself? Then he takes him to talk in private. He says to him, you are going to destroy yourself and your future for a girl. You must come back with me now. He says, no, I can't, and leaves him. He asks him, and if you lose, what will you do? He says, as long as she is with me, it is not possible for me to lose. He says to him, so you can endure all this because you love her? He says, love is what brought me here, and it is also what brought you here for me. He leaves him and goes. Afterward, Raj comes and says to him, I know that Ramu's condition like this bothers you, but what you should know is that Sona loves him, and every day she prays for him to win. Afterward, Jeet goes to where Sona is and says to her, Ramu has lived his whole life spoiled and doing what he wants, and when I saw him like this, I almost went crazy, but now I understand that his love for you will change him for the better. He greets her and leaves. Afterward, he returns to Krish's house and prepares to return to Australia. Krish says to him, your decision is definitely wrong, and my sister will not like what is happening. He says, this sister of yours is my wife, and I will know how to convince her, and leaves. Prakash takes Krish and says, the girl is devastated. He says, don't worry, I know that his sister will never agree, and Ramu will definitely lose because Raja himself wants him to lose. He says, so you are sure? He says, definitely. But after a short period, Sona and Raj helped Ramu and made him understand everything about cultivating the land until he succeeded in planting his land. But during this period, Prakash was watching them and saw him with Sona. He called her mother and said, the girl will not give up on Ramu and Ramu will be lost to you. She tells him, do whatever it takes for him to fail. The important thing for me is that they don't get married in the end. He tells her, you will see what I will do, and ends the call. He then called a criminal to help him and agreed with him to destroy the crops on Ramu's land. At night, the criminal entered the land with his men and began to prepare the mixture with which they would water the land to kill the crops. But at the same time, another person appeared, and we learned that it is Vish, Singh's son, and he was coming to carry out his plan and kill the crops so that Ramu would fail and he would marry Sona. The criminals hid to see what he would do. Vish went towards the well to poison the water, but suddenly he fell, and the fire lantern fell on him. He ran quickly and pushed the fire away from himself, and the criminals were surprised. He threw the fire at one of them and ran away, but the criminal threw the garment away from him, and the fire spread everywhere, so they all fled. At the same time, Ramu woke up to the sound of the cattle screaming and found the whole place on fire. He tried to get all the cattle out. Raja and the others woke up to the sound and tried to put out the fire, but after they got the cattle out, Ramu surprised them and went back to the place where he sleeps. Sona was shocked and did not understand why he did this. Suddenly, Ramu returned again carrying a bag. Raja says to him, "You're crazy. Is there anything in this bag worth dying for?" The bag fell and the horse fell out of it. They were all shocked, and Raja could not believe that he did that for the horse. He leaves them and goes. After a short period, Ramu began to harvest the crop. At the same time, Prakash met the criminal again. He says to him, "The first plan would have succeeded, but a stranger appeared and ruined everything for us. But I promise you that the second plan will succeed." He tells him, "Do anything, but the result is what's important." Afterward, Ramu had harvested his crop and was afraid that Raja's grains would be more than his, and he would lose the challenge. He says to Sona, "Our future will be decided tomorrow, and I'm afraid of losing. But your brother is kind, so please ask him not to kick me out of here, because I have come to love working the land and with the cattle, even the look in his eyes when I'm tired, and now I can't imagine that I can live away from you all." At the same time, Raja had heard everything he said from a distance. He then leaves him and goes. At night, the criminal came to carry out his plan and says to his men, "Ramu's crop. So we will move a part of Ramu's crop to Raja's crop so that Ramu loses and we get all our money from Prakash." They carry out the plan immediately. The next day, they started collecting the grains, and Prakash is there to see the result. At the same time, Sona is praying for Ramu to win. At the same time, Raj is with Raja. Raja says to him, "I feel that your opinion of Ramu has changed and you have grown to like him." He says, "But he must win the challenge." He asks, "So that means if he loses, he won't marry her?" He says, "Don't worry, he won't lose, because before sunrise, I moved a large part of my crop to his." He says, "Since you were young, I was sure that you had a kind heart." At the same time, Ramu had won the challenge. Prakash takes the criminal, angry, and leaves the place. He then says to him, "You ruined me and my daughter with your failed plan." Suddenly, Singh goes to him and says, "I am the one who will end this matter, but you must provide me with protection from the police." At the same time, Ramu is running happily to make Sona happy. She calls out to him, but suddenly on the way, criminals appear, attack Ramu, kidnap Sona, and leave him and go. By chance, Afdal is at the scene and tries to defend them, but they beat him. But Ramu quickly recovers and runs after them with all his strength to catch them. But after he caught up with the car, they hit him and knocked him down. At the same time, Afdal had returned to the house and told Raja what had happened. At the same time, the criminals had taken Sona to a deserted place. Singh says to her, "I previously asked your brother to marry you to my son, but he did not answer me. So today, I will complete this marriage against your will." He orders his son to put the marriage necklace on her to become his wife, but Gauri had found out what happened and came quickly to help Sona. She tells them, "Raja is coming and will kill you all." They all get confused. Gauri takes the opportunity and takes Sona and runs to a deserted place and tells her, "You must hide here." At the same time, the criminals are chasing them. Gauri makes them see her to lead them away from Sona, but they all surround her, and the criminal threatens to to kill her if she does not tell him Sona's location. But at the same moment, Ramu had woken up, reached their location, and attacked the criminals like a beast. But Sona comes out of her hiding place, and Vish Singh tried to attack her. But at the same moment, it is Raja who arrived at the scene and attacked him and the others with Ramu. But Prakash and Singh attacked them with a car and tried to kill them. Raja says to Ramu, "You go protect Sona." Then Raja attacked alone. But at that time, Vish chased Sona again, silenced Sona's voice, and took her with him. Sona screamed before he put the necklace on her, but Prakash and Singh had tied up Raja. Raja got angry and managed to escape from them and went towards Sona and attacked Vish and was about to kill him. But at the same moment, Ramu had attacked him and killed him. Raja thought of something and then took the weapon from him. From here, we return to the present time, and we learn that Raja took the blame instead of Ramu and was imprisoned in his place for 7 years. The next day, Raja gets out and finds everyone waiting to welcome him. Raj tells him, "Ramu and Sona refused to get married until you got out and were with them." Jeet tells him that his wife came on her own and agreed to the marriage after she realized she was wrong. The next day, Ramu and Sona get married. And here was the end. I hope you liked the video. Don't forget to subscribe and activate the bell to receive our new videos. And peace out, my friend.